The government says it's comfortable with the progress of AUKUS under the Trump administration. It's playing down concern around a review by the Pentagon that it could potentially put the program in jeopardy. Political correspondent Cam Redden is live with me. The Defence Minister says he's known about this for weeks.
Several weeks, Kieran, and playing down very much a concern that this might be some kind of death sentence, some kind of concern around AUKUS. This review by the Pentagon announced overnight to be led by Elbridge Colby, who's currently the Under-Secretary of Defence Policy in the United States, looking through whether or not they believe AUKUS fits in with Donald Trump's America First agenda. So that is the rather broad remit for this review. Richard Marles, though, telling Sky News, the Defence Minister, that this has been knowledge for some time. He points to a review that took place in the United Kingdom when there was a change of government. Keir Starmer's Labor government came in, they ran the rule over AUKUS, and ultimately, in his view, that brought them out more supportive after that process. So Australia, the government, for now welcoming this review. They're going to engage with it, is the language from the Defence Minister, saying that this hasn't caught anyone in the government by surprise, even though it appears that this has only been made public in the last 24 hours.
We've known about the review for some time. We welcome it and we will engage with it. It's a very natural step for the incoming administration to take. I do have a sense of confidence about the way in which AUKUS is playing out under the Trump administration and that we will meet the pathway that we have committed to.
I'm optimistic we can keep AUKUS on track, and we will stand ready to work with Labor to do exactly that.
The context of this review does come from a very forthcoming and a public press by the US administration to get its allies spending more on defence, not just Australia but others more broadly. Pete Hegseth, the Defence Secretary, has set Australia a target of 3.5% of defence spending for GDP. That's what he wants Australia to hit. It's currently just above 2%, making this plea to allies in the Indo-Pacific once again at a House hearing overnight.
President Trump looks to those allies and partners to step up, to share in the burden of their own defense. It's only fair that our allies and partners do their part. We can't want their security more than they do.
Scott Morrison, I spoke to him earlier in the program. He was one of the architects of AUKUS. He seems quite relaxed with where this review is at. Do you think that he might also play a role? I asked him about possibly being an envoy on this, to try and use his contacts within the White House?
He says he's always open to serving the national interest, Kieran, so certainly not shutting the door if that's something Kevin Rudd, the ambassador, or indeed the Prime Minister might feel could help Australia should there be a need to really double down and make the case to the Trump administration that AUKUS should not just continue, but that work should even be ramped up potentially, and reminding the administration of the ties that exist there. One of the key concerns on both sides, the American and the Australian sides, is that the submarine program could be progressing more quickly, that there have been some delays throughout that production line. Scott Morrison telling Sky News that he believes that is being addressed. It's something that the Trump administration has promised to ensure continues, and that there is a reminder too. Just earlier this year, Australia provided nearly $1 billion in our currency to assist the US with its submarine program.
Are you concerned by this Pentagon review into AUKUS?
No, I'm not. It's totally within their remit, as I've said, that incoming governments do reviews. Keir Starmer did a review, and that resulted in the UK government being even more committed to AUKUS. Like with any arrangement, Kieran, you've always got to keep making the case. Production capacity of submarines in the US is a major issue for them, and it is. They need to get it up well above where it is today, and they have targets for that, and they need to achieve them. And under AUKUS, Australia is contributing to that.
Not all former Prime Ministers on a unity ticket. Malcolm Turnbull has cast doubt, as he has for many years, on the AUKUS agreement. He says that there needs to be consideration of a plan B. Paul Keating, the former Labor Prime Minister, believes that AUKUS has been a bad idea from the start. He says that this review could essentially save Australia from itself and give the government a way out of the deal, not something that the Prime Minister and Labor is considering here. For context too, Donald Trump in the past, while he hasn't necessarily explicitly full-throated provided that public support for AUKUS since his return to the White House, has in the past spoken glowingly of the broad relationship with Australia and those endeavours.
What about America First? Do you recognise that for many of your allies, sometimes it's seen as America alone because it has adverse impacts on countries like Japan and Australia, like on trade, for example.
Yeah, well, I think I can say very easily that we've been very good to our allies. We work with our allies. We take care of our allies. We do look at ourselves, and we look at ourselves, I think, more positively than ever before. But we also look at our allies, and I think Australia is a good example.
The President questioned there by our own Kieran Gilbert in 2019. Clearly there is a focus on AUKUS, a review, but the real full court press today, Kieran, is that this is not a sign to panic, even if perhaps the outcomes of these reviews are less predictable than previous administrations.
Yeah, the America First approach definitely does stress test some of these agreements, though, Cam, that's true. And as you say, going back to that first term in office, that's been the reality.